For the last 3 days, I've been seeing number 3, 6, and 9 all over the place. And usually when this starts happening to me, I just have this strong inner pulse to make a video about it. So usually I don't know why, but I just sense that I need to do it. So I'm quite curious what this message will be all about. But I feel like if you came across this, you're meant to hear what we'll be talking today about. So 3, 6, and 9 is a very powerful number. Also Nikola Tesla was talking about it. And if you look all this, what people call angel numbers, like 111, 222, 333, they all come together to 3, 6, and 9. Like 111 is 3, 222 is 6, 333 is 9, and so on. They all come back to 3, 6, and 9. And what I sense about it, it means the evolution, the spiritual evolution through alignment. So I've been seeing this number, like I've been, around the places, and almost wherever I was, I saw this number. Today, I've been seeing it all over the place. So I want to give you a message that comes with this number today, and whatever resonates with you, maybe it's just a time for you to hear it. Many of you may be feeling like something is pulling you deeper into alignment. Like there are parts of you that are outdated. Those may be stories. It may be something related to your identity. It may be something related to your lifestyle. It may be something related to the outlook on life and what you're doing with your life. How are you approaching your life and how are you moving through life? When something gets outdated, it means that it's out of alignment. It means that we kind of need to remove it. So in practical language, it means that there's a habit that needs to be changed. There's an activity that needs to be removed or applied. There is a belief that is disturbing us. Maybe it's fear-based. Maybe it's limiting our expression or experience. And how I've been feeling for the last 2 months was that I'm just going through an upgrade. And this upgrade feels like so much of fears came to the surface. And I've started questioning what I'm doing. And is this still in alignment with me? Do I still want to do what I'm doing? But it was more like coming out of fear. So for a certain period of time, I was questioning, do I still want to do it? But every time I went meditating or just, for a walk or to do something where I've completely reconnected with my, like yesterday I've mentioned, inner wholeness. When I reconnect back with my wholeness, I recognize it's just fear speaking to me. It's just some old stories that were still not fully maybe identified. They were still kind of, blocking me in some ways. And I needed to identify them and ask myself, on what side am I standing? And maybe this may resonate with you. So I've been asking myself, am I standing on the side of love, or am I standing on the side where I'm kinda, still in fear and protecting myself for whatever, I don't even know. And every time, I kind of needed to decide, am I standing on the side of love and truth, or am I still walking in fear and moving forward scared and kind of avoiding this kind of a spiritual responsibility? It's maybe this is not the best word, but kind of a responsibility that serves my greatest evolution. This comes back to 3, 6, and 9, evolution through alignment. So one day I remember I was sitting in meditation and I've decided I'm ready to stand completely on the side of love, on the side of truth. And then just an incredible relief happened within me. It was almost like someone would put some weights off my shoulder, and I would start to feel like I'm ready for the next chapter of this journey. And maybe some of you may be feeling like this as well, like you've been kind of jumping from one side to another. Like for a certain period of time, you're standing for love and, you know, preaching what is right and doing what is right, and, you know, maybe speaking your truth, being devoted to something you love, something you're passionate about, something that's really creating a wonderful experience out of your life, what your soul craves the most. But then you've fallen back into fear and you've been questioning all of that and thinking like, are you making this stuff up? And does it truly make sense? And you've been kind of, you know, jumping a little bit from one side to another. That's what has been happening to me. And once I've decided, I've recognized that my path just became more clear, and I've recognized, okay, I just don't need to be, you know, kind of manipulated by fear anymore. So it happened the way that I've started noticing the guidance more clearly. It just, like, my antenna for guidance would just become more clear or more stronger, maybe less clouded. And when I fully embrace that, it's not like things just change immediately, but you start to feel at ease with yourself. You recognize, well, if I'm not loving my life, well, what am I doing then, right? If I'm not loving my life, what's the point? And if love is this unconditional force, why am I saying that I can only love my life if it is this way or this way? It's ego, isn't it? If I really embrace my life, I can love it as it is. And as I've started doing that, I've started noticing, whoa, it's quite transformative. It's quite transformative because, well, I needed to distance myself from certain people. Why? Because I've recognized that I've been lowering myself every time I've been spending time with them. I've been lowering myself for them. And it was always for, you know, it always caused me a great sense of kind of inner chaos, inner conflict. Every time I got back to myself, I've recognized it took me so much time to recalibrate. And I've recognized, okay, if I truly love myself, I will not be lowering myself. It's kind of like you create a standard to which you're willing to lower yourself, and you don't go below this standard. You don't go below this standard because it just poisons you too much. And this was a big change for me. This is the evolution through alignment. You start recognizing, okay, things that are out of alignment with me just don't belong into my life anymore. So I've also become more open to let go of what is living my life, what is just disappearing from my life, not seeing it as a bad thing, but just seeing it as a part of this season. If nature has seasons, like trees are letting go of leaves, maybe my life has seasons as well. And more we embrace love for life, more we embrace seasons. Like there are seasons where you're just letting go and it feels like maybe everything is kinda shaky and falling apart. Because you only see the physical, you don't see what's happening on the energy level of your life. Maybe there's, you know, the spiritual cleansing that's happening, right? Where your life is just kinda releasing the old outdated stuff. And on energy level, there's just purification that's happening. So the garden for the seeds you've been planting until now can be prepared and kind of rejuvenated for everything that's about to grow. But I've noticed it's also not so much into believing into the future and waiting when things will happen. I've recognized it's more about embracing this moment and just knowing what I need to do right now, what I need to do right at this moment. It's another ascension, evolution through alignment, because life doesn't happen, it's not happening tomorrow, it's happening right now. So when I fully embrace the love for life, I recognize it's this moment that I have. It's right now that I'm alive. I don't know what happens tomorrow. Life is quite an interesting journey and you don't know what happens tomorrow. But it's what you can do right now, right? And more you're truly aligned with you, more you're really embracing you right now, more you will know what to do right at this moment. And then the magic happens when you become more present in every single moment, because you will just know what to do. There's something magical that happens when you're in a certain conversation with someone, because you will notice you just know what to say. The conversation starts flowing so naturally. You become such a great listener, almost like a therapist. You listen, you get into the flow state with that person, a magic happens. That's when you embrace love for life, and that's when you align with the ascension process. You recognize through you, others can heal, and through others, you can heal. You really start to understand what this mirror principle truly means when they say everything is a reflection of you. When you fully embrace the love for life, you recognize it's all happening within you. And maybe all these other people and everything that's going on is more of a mirror of your own interpretation of what's going on. So this love for life is then inviting you to forgiveness. Like, start forgiving them and you start feel lighter. And lighter you feel, different your approach towards them is. Usually it's more open-minded, open-hearted. You're not carrying so much weight of what they said to you and blame for what they did to you. You move on and you kind of become open for greater experiences, because one thing your soul craves the most is transformative experiences. Those are the experiences that kind of help you to peel off the old layers of yourself. It's something that happens that make you question all the existence to a deeper degree. Like, if this happened right now, what else is limiting me? Like, I remember before me and Maya started this journey, Maya is my partner, before we started this journey, we went to travel, and for a certain period of time we've been sleeping in a car because we've spent and lost all of our money, and we had no idea what to do. And at some point, I already knew a little bit about this law of attraction and things like that, and at some point we were sitting in a car and we said, well, if there is truly some universal intelligence that kind of wants the best for us, come and show us a way. That's something like that we said to it, and then interesting things started happening to us that were quite transformative. And that was the time when I've started really noticing how powerful life can be when we open up to really shake us. Shake us in a way that it introduces us to a deeper truth. Like, you know, the essence of life doesn't want you to be attached to what you know. It wants you to be open, to be curious for the unknown. Because what you know is already familiar to you, and you will not grow much if you stay in the familiar. Your life right now is pretty much familiar. It's what you know. But if you truly want to evolve and trust more and know more, you need to tap into the unfamiliar and do new things and be really open for what to do right at this particular moment, where your soul is calling you at this particular moment. And really embrace this guidance, because this guidance loves you to such a degree that it wants to move through you. That's how much it loves you. It wants to move through you. It says to you, hey, you want money? Do this. You want more love? Do this. You want more connection? Do this. That's how simple it is. If we stay attached to the known, we usually say, oh, I will not do this because then it's the whole process and I don't know if I can do it, and then we start doubting. And then it says, okay, you're not ready. I'm fine with that. Whenever you will be ready, I'm here for you. That's how much it loves you. It's the flow of life. It's the expression of life. You're forgetting you're part of it. You're its creation. You are it. But still, so many times we are staying, attached to this little us that believe we know everything, while the truth is we know nothing. I mean, we know little. And at this point, we're all being encouraged to level up, to expand and fully surrender to love, which says, notice what I'm saying to you. It says, notice where I want you to go, because everything you want is there. Everything you would love to experience is there. So why are you making yourself stuck if you could move with this? So if you really listen to it, you will notice if your body is tired, well, manage your life so you can rest more. But when you will be resting, you will notice at some point you will feel inspired for something, and then do it. It will take you to the flow state where the flow will take you somewhere. It's just a constant listening. Your antenna for this intelligence is just getting sharper. And you're noticing that. And it feels interesting. And every time you follow it, you feel excited about it, right? But then there comes a day where your old identity takes over and you start doubting everything once again. It's what I said before. At some point right now, you will need to decide on what side you're standing. It's like if you look at the, bank of a river, you may stand in front of a river, or you can cross the river. Let's say the river of change. And when you stand on the other side of the river, you're not the same person anymore. Before you cross the river of change, you're in familiar, in known. You kind of know your identity. You don't know yourself, but you know your identity. You will say, look, I am this way. That's what happened to me. This is why I feel this way. And so on. And you can keep fighting with whoever and pretend you know everything. I am this way. Yeah, that's how I work. But then you cross the river of change and you suddenly recognize how little you know. And even though you've recognized that you know almost nothing, there's something mystical that starts speaking through you that invites you onto an adventure. And this adventure shouldn't be known. It shouldn't be something like you just know what to do. It kind of happens, like all great writers wrote books, they had no idea where these books will take them. Like, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle is something very familiar, or Harry Potter, works like that. These authors, they had no idea where these books will take them. But they went into an adventure of following their impulse, and they've started creating whatever needed to be done through them. And look at them now. They've accomplished more than they could ever imagine. And in the past, those were few individuals. Now, because of the internet, because we have access to this kind of information, we recognize it's not that they are special. They've been just courageous more than all other people. And they tend to just decide to listen, to follow this voice of love that took them onto a very creative path, that introduced them to all these miracles and magic of life. Was it easy? Most probably not. But was it transformative? Oh, most probably yes. So we recognize that love for life means to follow transformation rather than what's easy. And it was another challenging idea, because usually we like to just do what's familiar and easy. But it doesn't provide as much of transformation. That's why I think, these 3, 6, and 9 are really the pillars of reality, the numbers, the pillars of reality. Because only through aligned evolution, change can actually happen. right? So each aligned action becomes a pillar for the next level reality. When we take aligned action, like for example, when I'm painting, aligned action is that I see a vision in my mind's eye. I just see a picture, and then I grab a canvas. I pick colors that I feel the most, resonating with that vision. I start mixing them, and I just feel, with certain colors I feel aligned for that particular painting. I don't think what would fit the most. I just feel the right color, and it's all for me an aligned action. And then usually I just don't know what I'm doing. I just start painting, and eventually painting, happens. It's all aligned action. Most of the time I don't even know how to paint it. Like the lion here behind me, I had no idea how to paint a lion. I was not sketching it. I was not, making, measurement, where to put eyes and nose and all of that. I was just painting, aligned action, and it happened. This is the real demonstration of it. I was a bit anxious, will it work? Maybe afraid, like, what if I fail the process? But it worked. It just worked. I don't know how it just worked. I think this is the trust into aligned action, and what happened after that, I became more evolved artist. Like after this painting, I just believed even more into my own ability to trust the process. And we can look this same way for everything in our lives. Like every time we do aligned action with something, when right at this moment I just feel what I need to do and I do it immediately. After I will do it, I will see some results. And if I reflect on these results, I notice, well, it was good. It taught me something, it made me someone. And maybe 1 year later, if we reflect on all these aligned actions, we recognize, oh man, it was a fun journey. It was a fun journey. So I don't know what from this message can maybe speak to you or resonate with you. But for me, it was quite a journey. Like shifting between loving everything and doubting everything, and at some point deciding what I really want to completely embrace with all of myself and devote all of myself to it until I become it. Until I become more of this process than just some identity from the past, right? And that's, I think, where we become timeless, where we become like multidimensional, and we recognize, right now I'm this, but tomorrow I will be someone else. And then after tomorrow I will be something else, right? And we keep evolving until at some point we recognize that most of these laws of these lower dimensions just don't have so much of control over us. Now we suddenly became so much more multidimensional. Like more guidance comes, more knowledge comes, more wisdom comes, more interesting abilities come, and yeah, it just becomes fun. So yeah, I don't even know what to say here. I just hope you found something valuable, and I want to say thanks to everyone for choosing to support my art. With that, you're supporting this mission, and with that, you're also bringing some very powerful and inspiring energy to your home that will support you on your aligned evolution. So thank you so much for that. You can find all of my art on AttractPassion.com or Etsy store AttractPassion. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. We're doing some monthly challenges and posting monthly guided meditations, and we'll do so much more. We're making some plans for future content. So join us there. Thank you so much, and till next time, one love.